my players meeting this oh shit, it's live. Hello and welcome to another scene in Darkness in Dublin. Today we have people going to visit the NPC I made in like 2 seconds last night. The Count, Malik Embersworn. I was told before the scene started that his name was spelled really freaking weird and it was like Malik, but we ain't gonna talk about that.
Because it is spelled weird.
Well, Karina's spelled weird.
No, this is pretty average spelling of Karina, or whatever.
You're freaking. I don't tempt. Okay. I'm assuming everyone just kind of, for random ass reasons, just kind of shows up at the Count's freehold at around the same time.
I guess.
Karina and Shane probably were like delivering the body, if I believe correctly, right?
Yeah, basically, like, no one sees what's actually, like, they have, like, a big-ass bag. Like, a big-ass bag. It's obvious that there's something in there.
You know, if this was a Sealy County, people would probably be curious. The people you see outside don't give a fuck. They like, whatever. They probably know. And to get Blythe here, you know what? The Count has never seen a Doulahan. I have no doubt he would be that kind of bitch and was just kind of like, arrive at my county for dinner. I wish to speak with you.
Oh, shit.
Because that is this kind of Count.
Oh, this is going to be great.
Okay, so writing up on this is this. Very sweet looking, very moe. However, for those who see into the dreaming, this is what actually shows up.
Interesting. Okay.
Surrounded by roiling black mist that seems to, she's actually not wearing armor. She's wearing a riding dress with divided skirts with silver studs on them. In her mortal form, she's actually wearing black leathers, like bike riding leather suit with silver studs on it as well. She climbs off of her horse, surrounded by the mist, not wearing weapons or armor, just wearing a nice little riding dress, carrying her head. Her eyes actually are not yellow, acid yellow like in that picture. They're actually, you know, you guys play World of Warcraft, so you know what a Death Knight's eyes look like? The glowing blue?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. So, just glowing blue light coming out of her eyes. She looks a little frustrated, holding her head under her arm, and is going to look around a bit and then start heading inside.
She's gonna see Shane and Karina. I can't describe Shane, but Karina is. Blythe does see a she with ice blue eyes, very cold looking. She does not look regal like most of the other she that Blythe has come across. This is something far more untamed, far more wild, far less untouched, far more untouched by seemingly civil niceties. This she kind of looks weird. And there is a she and the satyr are carrying this rather large bag. It's a really big bag. It's a person-sized bag. That's happening.
Blythe, you kind of low-key hear the call coming from the bag.
Is it dead?
Nope. Not yet.
Alright. Blythe is going to walk over to the bag and place her free hand upon it.
All right. Before she gets there, she is going to kind of, like, if it looks like Blythe is starting to approach, Karina will kind of stop, look over, and say, "Can I help you?"
Tap to tap. She actually will pull out her phone and start tapping on it. And then she'll hit a button and you'll hear a synthesized voice say, "I'll have to call her name soon."
I understand.
Is this a female that has walked up?
Yes.
Oh, shit. Dre!
So there's
She's-
a sailor kind of there next to Karina. He's gonna like, what's the matter? A cat has your tongue? Or are you like mute or something like that?
Tap to tap to tap 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 to tap 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 tap. Play. Death is followed by silence. Silence is the writer's call.
Wait, you made a vow to be silent?
Tap to tap 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 tap. Play. I am the writer. I am silent until the call is heard, and then my voice is heard but once. Tap 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 tap. And then she'll play again. Say, pray that your name is not heard being called by my voice.
Oh, then you should probably not spend the night with me because my name will be called several times.
When you say that, all of a sudden she's surrounded in spiky black armor. Like the mist just wraps around her, and it becomes plate armor with spikes jutting out of it.
Karina will look to, is it Moira or Blythe here?
Blythe.
Blythe, okay. She'll look over to Blythe and say, "He is not with me. If you take offense to him, that will be your and his business."
Tap 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 tap. Play. Death seeks not the comfort of the living.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you were one of those. My bad. I did not mean to disrespect you. I mean, everybody has all types of fetishes.
Tap 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 tap. Play. There is no point in attachment, fetish, or pleasure. There is only the job.
Oh, I never get attached.
Blythe is going to turn herself so that her head is looking at Karina with those eyes and the expression of blink, blink.
Karina will say, "As I said, he is not with me."
She'll move her free hand and the armor will turn back into mist and is now flowing about her regularly. Tap, 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 tap. Play. Were you invited to dinner as well? I sincerely hope that is not the main course.
No, I am not one for cannibalism. Also, I was not invited to dinner. I merely have a gift.
The thing she's carrying is too ugly to eat, really. But, I mean, to each his own.
Tap, 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 tap. Play. I prefer things that are sweet, like hot chocolate. Ooh,
Oh,
and peppermint bark.
Karina just closes her eyes and just face palms because she knows what Shane's going to do with that.
Well, some might consider me hot chocolate.
Tap, tap,
There
tap,
it
tap,
is.
tap, 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 play. Play. If you mean that you can be set on fire and reduced to a liquidized form. I'm sure that's correct.
No, I just am heat itself. Just ask any of the women around here. They all probably know me by name.
Play. I'm sure you think you're right. And with that, she's just going to start heading inside.
Very pointedly, there is a knocker outside on the grounds. She is a female. She looked to have been working on something. She'll look up over to Shane, just kind of blink her eyes and say, "Who the fuck are you?" "I'm a woman around here, and I don't know who the hell you are."
I'm Shane, and you can always get to know me. We can rectify that problem, perhaps right now. I mean, I don't think I need to accompany my lady here in delivering her gift, and he will give that $1,000,000 smile.
Before the knocker can say anything, a very regal-looking man, not the Count though, you guys can guess, probably his quote-unquote assistant, walks out in formal robes and everything, and a sash denoting his rank and everything. Is just a little squire. Is a she as well. He, she. I will never get over that. He'll just kind of he'll bow lightly and say, "Ah, the Count was only expecting one, but I shall tell him 2 more have arrived. Your names are?"
Baroness Karina Stormfury of House Eason.
Looks to Shane.
Seeing that he looks regal and everything, he says, "I'm Squire Shane Black."
He inclines his head and then says, "And of course I already know about your arrival, Lady Blythe."
She will tilt her head as a form of nod.
Let the Count. Oh, sorry.
Then she will pull out her. She'll pull out her phone and she'll swipe around and then she'll hit a button and she'll say, "I am pleased to be in the domicile of your lord, the Count."
He nods his head slightly and will reply, "As he is no doubt pleased that you are here. If you 3 would please follow me." And he will turn on his heel and head inside of the freehold.
Blythe will follow, being followed by her miss. The motorcycle/horse will move a little bit. Blythe will swivel her head back and make a shushing, like pursing her lips like she's shushing, basically telling Clarity, "Calm down, I'll be okay." And then we'll turn her head back around and walk inside.
Clarity's like, "I don't want to be left out here with these freaking with this knocker and like these random people." Of course, it's in less words. It's kind of like, I don't really know these people, but okay. Be back soon.
She'll think back to Clarity. "It'll be okay. If you need to, you can go take a ride. Just don't get seen."
Of course. Okay. The Count's freehold, it just oozes. I think I'm important. I think that is really the only real way. Okay, so you guys remember? Okay, who here has played Bloodlines?
Is this basically LaCroix?
No, it is not just basically LaCroix, but you know, okay, how everything was, it was like this pastel white, and the walls were gilded with gold, and he had like these fancy ass couches all over the place, and he had like these hella expensive rugs all in his, you know, in his office.
Yeah.
Is that, but the entire castle.
Oh, okay.
Except of course, instead of, you know, the wooden walls, you have beautiful, like, stone walls and pillars and everything. I guess granite. Let's fucking go with granite. Because I don't really know stones. And the squire will lead you through these various hallways. You can smell from one room you guess it's probably the kitchen. You can hear people. You hear this hella loud knocker screeching. You know what? Screeching about lamb sauce.
Are you sure it's not screeching? It's raw, you bloody donkey.
No, this knocker is saying a lot of bad things.
Okay.
You can probably guess. Living legend Gordon Ramsay, but
Yeah.
is bad. Oh my god, the things he's saying. It's so bad.
Nice. I like that.
But the food smells divine. You keep going further down the hallway, and Karina and Shane are hit with a very familiar smell.
Bed springs. Bed springs.
No, smell. But it does relate to bed springs, yes.
Sex stank. Okay.
So much. You hear a lot of there's so many moans and little mewls of pleasure and a couple yelps of pain. There's the crack of a whip. You hear someone laughing. They might have a feather duster or something in there. I don't really know. This is just what I read, going off of pure smut here.
Pockets, heels, and fucking points too.
Yes, there's a lot of stuff, but it's all behind the door. The squire will just barely pause and look back to Shane.
Shane is looking intently at this door.
I'm guessing Blythe looks horrified.
Blythe is not paying attention. She's not virginal. She's moe, so she just doesn't see the point.
That's fair. Karina is pretty stone-faced right now.
You don't hear any bed springs, but that's because you can probably guess there's no
There's
bed.
no beds. Yeah.
No beds.
I will look at the other squire then and like, other people invited, or is it just a one-on-one occasion?
The squire will open up. It's a big double door. He'll grab one of the handles, open it, pull down and then open it, revealing the inside of this room. Okay, for those of you who have done Black Temple in World of Warcraft, y'all remember that room where y'all were killing all the concubines and shit?
Yes, I actually just went through there the other day.
Yeah, no.
Oh, I was just blender of death right through that place.
Hanging from the ceiling are silk curtains. They are see-through, but they just add color to the room. There are pillows everywhere and rugs. There are swings, there are shackles. Some people are kind of on the wall, just pinned on the wall, and on the floor. Somebody probably used Wayfair and is on the ceiling. We don't fucking ask questions in this room. There are hookahs and a table full of, let's just call it, like, various assortment of, like, drugs. Like, I don't know. Very unpleasant room. But the squire will kind of motion for you to enter if you so wish to, Shane.
Oh, he'll walk in. He'll look back at the cat. You know, I didn't know this was a formal event. You do have the house banners in case you need to present those, right?
The cat is the smile is upside down, and then the cat will materialize, and he too is upside down, and he's just kind of like, I don't have the house banter or banner.
Oh, well, I'll probably be preoccupied in this room, so we can skip the formalities for now.
I thought your house banner was your dick. The cat just replies.
You know what? I did mean to get a tattoo of it on there.
That is up to you. I do not know. I am but a cat.
He'll look back at Karina to join.
Tim just said that he'd be right back.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, and he will also try some of the drugs. Actually, are there pills with like dolphins on them and stuff? And unicorns and all that?
Dolphins and unicorns on the drugs?
Yeah, he's looking for ecstasy pills.
Sure, there's probably a little baggie full of those.
He will indulge in the ecstasy then.
You high as a kite, dude. Yeah. It's pretty good. There are an assortment of in the room there is an assortment of two knockers. There is one red cap in the back of the room who is viciously with a satyr in very unpleasant ways.
This isn't love, by the way. This is the opposite of love.
There are lots of satyrs. Pretty much just at least one of every kith is in this room having a great time. Actually, there is no troll and there are no Eshus. Everyone else is there though. Oh, and no Slua. But everyone else is in there having a good time. But just one red cap.
Oh yeah, then Shane will indulge in the pleasures, and he's already high off ecstasy.
And Tim is back, by the way, so you can do that little interaction with him.
Oh yeah, he looks back over at Karina. Would you like to join?
Join?
Yeah,
No.
This is a great room. Can I touch your hair?
No, it has always been like this.
But I bet now it will feel even softer.
Maybe.
He's probably a little intoxicated or high.
That's fair. No, they're changelings. That isn't too surprising. Also, he's a commoner, so she doesn't really expect that much. This is pretty right in line with what she's thinking. So she's like, whatever. So she'll just respond with, I do not think that entire room can handle what I would like anyway.
Oh, I'm sure the cat will indulge you, won't you, cat?
Of course it would.
You don't know how. The cat gives a thumbs up. Karina, you hear from inside of the room. Well, little lady, why don't you come in here and try it out for yourself? See if we can handle you.
I have other pressing matters.
Be sure to stop by then.
I will consider it.
You would do well to. And the woman just kind of winks.
Is this a satyr?
Is a satyr.
It is a satyr, of course.
Of course it's a satyr, Tim. What did you expect? Okay. So Shane's going in the room.
Yeah.
Okay. You will just I'm just gonna leave it as a you can find anything that you need in there. Just like anything. If you think your character might need it, it's there. We're just gonna leave it at that. And then the squire will politely close the door. And I will tell you, you're probably gonna fuck your way to some contacts tonight.
Shane?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, trust me, Karina has some ideas.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just if you guys spend at least an hour in there, you'll probably get some form of contacts because everyone's just kind of like, oh, hey there. But the squire, after dropping the satyr off, which to the squire was pretty much just kind of like I've dropped a child off at daycare. Now the adults can go on to more important things. Because the freaking it's a she. I'm sorry. He's horrible. But he will lead you on. He will lead you into an antechamber, to which he just kind of inclines his head and says, "One moment." And then heads into the room where you guess the count is. There is a quick discussion, and then the squire walks back out again and nods to both Karina and Blythe before opening the door and motioning for you to enter.
Blythe will wait for she to enter first, and then we'll enter behind her.
Okay.
In the room is the man of the picture, this dude that I have up, probably in those clothes as well. He is at a table that holds about, let's call it like 6 people. Actually, no, it's probably a more up close and personal table. You can tell that someone had very quickly set a spot for a third member. There aren't candles. It doesn't look romantic in any sense of the word. It was just someone was not expecting a third person to dinner. A casual dinner. He is staring out the window, and when you walk in, will turn around. His hands are clasped behind his back and everything, and he will look at the both of you and then say, "Ah, I was only expecting one, but it is a pleasure to meet you, Baroness Stormfury."
You as well. Comes in forsworn my lord. I did not come here empty-handed. She's gonna drag this fucking bag out to the center of, not to the center of the room, but kind of off to the side. Is there a lot of light in this area?
Not particularly.
Okay.
It gets from what I've heard, it gets dark really freaking early in Dublin, and this is around 7, 8ish. Usual former formal dinner time, I should say. So there's the only light is coming from the light bulbs, but there are still good sections of dark spots.
Okay. Karina will open up the bag to reveal. Now, to Blythe, what Blythe sees is, and what the Count sees, is a very, very androgynous old person. They look pretty fucked up. Pretty fucked up. And so Karina will look to the Count and say, I found this haunting a child's room.
Is that so?
Yes. What I thought you would find interesting, though, is what it said to me before I put an arrow in its eye.
He arches an eyebrow.
It was so and so will have your heads, right, Kim?
Yeah, Keldanoth will have your heads.
Yeah. Can you type that name in the side chat, please? So I know how to say it. Okay. They said Keldanoth will have your heads.
And at that name, Blythe will wince and will take her head in both hands, walk over to the wall, and start lightly pushing her forehead against the wall.
That is hilarious.
Like she's literally like tapping her forehead against the wall.
Miss Blythe, I so wish that you would not do that to my walls.
She'll hold back her head, look over to you, and just kind of make a apology bow.
I am assuming by your reaction you know something of this Keldanoth.
Tap to tap, tap to tap to tap, tap to tap. Play. Unfortunately, I've heard the name too much in the past couple months.
Keldanoth was a being that was described as being like a she, but not truly. He said that he was a bastard even among bastards. If I could paraphrase.
Curious.
I did not know if the county suffered from a Thalane problem, but I thought it was worth at least bringing to your attention.
There have been rumors and occasional sightings of Thalane in this county. I have sent my knights to hunt them down, and I have told the barons to clean up the mess. It seems that they have been lacking. How unfortunate.
Blythe will raise her hand lightly to speak.
He will motion for you to speak.
Tap 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 tap. Play. We know we of Ayala's barony know that Keldanoth was responsible for a child that was murdering innocent Cathane for no apparent reason. As well, this Keldanoth was also responsible for an issue involving a Korrid and a I'm sorry, my brain's slowing down on me. The Baroness with the ship,
Azalea.
Azalea, she's a she as well, right?
Yes.
She's
Uh,
Nisha.
Oh, yes, that is.
Involving a Korrid and Nishu Baroness and an unfortunate lack of decorum on the Baroness's part.
I have heard rumors of these stories. Please, why don't we sit and enjoy dinner? And we can speak of these stories over it.
Blythe will nod her head lightly. Then she will start tapping on her phone again, and she'll play. I apologize for not a formal introduction, as things were occurring with the mention of Keldanoth. I formally introduced myself as Blythe, the Rider of the Mists, Dullahan of the County Clare, and Rider of the Realm. I am honored to be in your county and to sit at your table.
He waves a hand, idly dismissing what she says, and he will say, "There is no need to be so formal. We're lacking in that, as I should have introduced myself first, but have not. But this is fine, for it is my table after all, and I believe formalities can be ignored for the moment."
She will move her head as if to nod it, and then will make a motion for, well, shall we sit, like with one hand.
He will actually be very, very courteous, and he will actually pull out the chairs for both Blythe and Arena.
Blythe will sit down with great grace and daintiness, and then set her head on the table.
Karina does not do that, but does thank him.
She'll move her head to smile politely to the Count, and then will pull out her phone, move it over a bit, and then hit a button and say, "Thank you very much."
He will incline his head to both of them. But then before he sits down, he will kind of ring a bell. And at that point, the squire comes back in. Oh, no. This guy, Count, points at the body. Actually, not a body. The dude is kind of lightly squirming, but you can... Oh, shit, he gone.
No.
Brett, no! No! Ah! Okay, you back.
Yeah, sorry about that. When Prince got on the bed, he screwed up my mic.
That's fine. Basically, the Count just kind of motioned towards the creature. It looks like the creature has cried a lot.
Does that night hag look familiar?
No, actually, never seen this night hag before.
Good. I'm just making sure it wasn't that night hag, or else she was going to get stuff thrown at her.
But you met a river hag, not a night hag.
Oh, okay.
Oh shit, the night hag was crying. Damn. I didn't know Karina made her cry. Shit.
Well, it's less of like you, but it's kind of hella painful when your chimerical self dies.
Yeah, you're right.
So it was just kind of like, oh my god.
I thought
What?
I was badass until Billy Badass showed up. And all his friends.
Wasn't even Billy Badass. Night hags can't fight. Night hags run away. They bitches.
Oh god, if that thing ran away, oh, Karina would have had a grand old fucking time. Don't even get me started.
But yeah, because when you unzip the bag, it was just kind of quietly, very softly weeping. Because, Oh my god, the mental anguish you can only assume you go through when half of you dies. Yeah. But the squire will kind of look at it. There is a Ella, a brief flicker of what the fuck. But then it is quickly concealed behind an icy mask as he kind of takes the bag and brings it out of the room.
That's exactly the reaction I was hoping for. I was like, what? Bring up into the fucking freehold.
Yeah, no. It's bad. It's bad. Shane, to flick down what's going on. There are so many people. All of them, at least the women anyway, seem very interested in having a moment of your time, should we say. Is he there? Oh no. Hello? Aww. Damn. Oh, there he is.
Were you calling me?
Yes. Basically, it was to say that, there is a line, basically, to have some fun with you, shall we put it that way.
Oh, okay, cool.
A lot of the women seem very interested. You have gotten several numbers. You can tell that.
He'll take those numbers.
Yeah. They all come with the stipulation of, just here for a good fuck. A couple of them are just like, call if you ever need something because you got, good goods or whatever. I just didn't want to, leave you out. And you are free to kind of, stroll into this, I didn't want to just, have you feel like you were just kind of left out down there. You can leave the room whenever you want and head up. The squire will politely show you if you ever wish to go upstairs.
He'll take the numbers and he'll head that way. He is once again no longer wearing a shirt.
Is he? Okay, the squire is just gonna kind of stop him and just say, you need to put a shirt on before you go before the count.
Oh, I often forget that I was even wearing one in the first place. Where did I put that shirt? And then he'll go and collect the shirt. Says the cat often plays games where I lose my shirt, so no disrespect. Yeah, he just threw the cat under the bus for no apparent reason.
The squire just gives you a blank look and then kind of looks over at the cat. The cat is currently, how to put this? So, the cat's sitting on your head at this point. Its head is between your horns, and he is just kind of chilling.
And he'll look at the squire and just kind of shrug. You know how it is for us squires. Days never done.
Yes.
Yeah, he's putting himself at the same level. Even though, of course, this squire being a she probably is not amused.
If you want to roll a perk empathy to see his current emotional state, that is fine with me.
Let me see. Empathy. I think I have 2 points of empathy. What am I using? Manipulation or one of the socials?
Perception, empathy.
Oh, perception of the.
Okay, just let me know how many successes you get.
What'd you say the difficulty was? I didn't hear
It's standard, just diff 6.
the six. Okay.
My bad. I think we all got mesmerized by the trailer we just saw.
Slightly.
For anyone that does not know, apparently there's going to be a Miles Morales Spider-Man coming out. So where do we want that? Do we have to stop for a moment?
My bad. For some reason, my roller is not. It keeps telling me.
It. You know what? It's fine. What's your? Oh, you can tell the squire is just kind of like he's just kind of done. He doesn't like dealing with satyrs. So he's just kind of like, I'm just doing my duty, and has a very annoyed look on his face. But he will lead you up to the room with where everyone else is. Of course, he will ask you to wait in the antechamber. Blythe and Karina, the squire comes back in again. He doesn't have the body with him, but he walks up to the count and he just kind of inclines his head and he says, another guest who has arrived with Lady Storm Fury and Lady Blythe has come out of the room and here for dinner.
Because
Hey.
Blood's head is on the table, you cannot see the eyes roll.
You know what? Fuck it. Karina would definitely make this joke, so just say. Yeah, you typically get quite a bit of an appetite after doing what he does.
Can somebody roll for me? Apparently, my Discord is still trying to connect. A 3D10.
It's fun. You don't need to roll. You already got what the squire was like thinking his emotional state.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But the squire will just kind of give Karina that ha 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 so funny look.
Oh, Karina meant it as much more insulting. But if he's gonna do it like that, she called it too.
Oh no, like it was that kind of laugh when you're just kind of like, I'm going to be formal, but fuck you.
Oh, wait. Is there actually an undercurrent of that? Is he challenging her? Is Squire challenging her?
Not okay. How to put this though? The squire's got that look on his face. It's just kind of like, of course. How very funny. Yeah, ha 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 ha. Screw you though. It's that look on his face, pretty much.
Is he actually challenging her? Is that happening?
I mean, he's not challenging you, and you can tell he's trying his best to keep it under wraps. But it's just Squire. He's still training.
Would Karina call him out? Yes, she fucking would. She would say, "I'm sure of how you are expected to conduct yourself with your liege lord. At the very least, with me, you do not need to hide behind facades."
He will incline his head slightly and say, "If you excuse me, I must bring the satyr in." And the squire just turns on his heel and leaves.
All right.
What the fuck? Sorry, work Snapchat. Somebody's running up and down the fucking hallways like idiots. The count is just kind of, you can tell he's fucking mastered the look of, I'm paying attention, but I'm acting like I'm not paying attention, but I want to see how this fucking goes. You know, it's just that kind of blank look of, I don't really care, but low key, you know that look. You spend enough time around she, you paying a
Shit,
damn
has
good
that
attention.
look.
Yeah, so he's just waiting to see what you do with that squire. A little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna put my shirt on then and just following back.
Yeah, you were led into an antechamber, and the squire, he went inside of the room for a moment, and when he came out, he was slightly red in the face, but he will motion for you to enter the room.
I'll look at him. Are you all right? Looks like maybe you got a rash there or something. Everything okay?
Of course,
That
sir.
does not look like a rash.
A pit, a pat, a rash, a dat. Perhaps, does dat rash rhyme with pat? I don't know. The cheeks are red, though.
Are
Perhaps.
you blushing because of me? That happens a lot.
No, sir. I am not blushing. The Count has a
It's
spot for
okay
you.
to admit it. I mean, there's others that, you know, have that same inclination. I tend not to have it, but I do not knock anybody else who has it. I mean, after seeing me, a lot of guys tend to go that inclination. It just happens. Nobody blames them. I can't.
The squire takes in such a deep breath. And he is still just motioning for you to enter the room.
You know, we can talk like regular people. We're the same level. We're both fine.
He will lean in quite close and he will just kind of quietly whisper to you, "You while you might be a squire, are beneath me, you filthy satyr. Now get in the room.
He'll kind of laugh to himself, and he will head into the room.
The squire will follow behind you and say, "Ladies and gentlemen, Sir Shane Black."
Thank you, thank you. I find myself back in your company, Karina. Seems like you just can't.
What was the chick say as he walked in?
What happened?
I didn't hear what he said as he walked in. Because I don't know,
Oh,
because you said it was muffled.
oh, he says, thank you, and then he says, well, Karina, I am back in your presence. It seems you can't seem to get rid of me.
Our paths seem to cross far more often than I would expect.
Maybe it's fate.
Maybe.
And at that, another chair and, plate and bowl and everything is produced. By a boggin that just kind of wandered in. And then the squire leaves. The door is shut a little louder than what is to be expected. And the boggin will just kind of nod. We'll fix you up some food. It is an Irish dish. I am too lazy to Google Irish dishes right now. But, it's not going to be like,
Oxtail.
okay, it's that. Whatever it is, it's good.
Everybody will notice that Blythe is technically feeding her head. Though in the gray world she's eating normally, in the Fey world she's literally cutting it up and feeding it to her head on the table.
All about that intent. It's not as stupid as it was in second edition.
Yeah.
So, is this food, the food is in the material world, or is it in both places?
You are actually in the dreaming. That's where this Count's Freehold is.
Oh, okay. So then you guys might also see the chest. Well, you guys could already see the chest attack, so never mind that.
Yeah, Fabian's there.
But he will actually, since we're in dreaming, he will actually be feeding. He'll take a bite and then he'll feed some to the mouth or however the Cheshire Cat appears at the time.
The cat is very happy and is purring loudly. The Count seems to take no notice. And then, when everyone is situated, he will look at Blythe and say, "I believe there was something you were going to recall, Miss Blythe."
Blythe will pull out her phone and she'll start tapping on it. Out of character, is it the situation involving the issue in the Corrid, or is it the thing with the kid?
You wanted it all.
Okay.
Because while he has been in the loop, he has heard it from a certain point of view, not from those who were actually there.
Right.
He is curious.
So,
Huh?
Always got her second-hand accounts.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Blythe will tap in and then hit play. Well, the first issue, there was someone who went missing. Was a knocker, right?
Boggin.
Boggin. A Boggin went missing. we went to the last known location where I was at the same time feeling the call to go somewhere else. After investigating, we discovered a track leading to the actual direction where I was being called to. I got there too late, in time to call out the name of the boggin who had her throat slit by the child, who then escaped us. We chased him upstairs. He escaped us again, but was caught by the retinue of Prince Ashran. Prince Ashran was able to determine through interrogation that this Keldanoth was the one responsible for the child's quote-unquote playtime. As soon as that was done, the body was taken back to Baroness Ayala, while myself and Baroness Azalea were en route back to the Baroness to give our reports, at which point we were waylaid by some form of magic that took us outside the city. We met a Chord there by the name of Ringa. I helped her escape capture by a river hag that proceeded to pelt me with rocks for my interference. And then we met a figure that was a she, but not a she, with a horse that looked like it was made of scales. Seeing an opportunity, apparently, Baroness Azalea decided to trade the Korid, who we had both never met before, to this Keldanoth in exchange for a ride into town. I tried to interfere, but was told that since I was merely a commoner, I was not my place. That's where it will end, and then she'll start tapping again. Hit play and say, I swear the ways of you courtly Cathane are a little unusual for me. I don't think you guys just traded each other willy-nilly. Then she'll start tapping again.
It stands to mention, as the mention of trading someone, Karina looks kind of pissed.
Yeah, no, the Count kind of just slightly narrows his eyes at Blythe when she just kind of loops all title-bearing people together in that loop. But he doesn't say anything.
Yeah, no, Karina looks over to Malik, asks, Your Excellency, I take your reaction to mean that slavery is not something that is permitted in your county, is that correct?
No, it is not.
Blythe will make a motion with one hand to the recorder and then draw like a question mark in the air, kind of asking if they want her to continue.
He will make that motion for her to go on.
Right. She'll hit play, and it'll say, at this point, Azalea was on the horse because she could not get her ship to her fast enough. I have been transported with clarity. So I raced back to town in order to find some people that could help me get this Ringa out of the situation she was in, and found Prince Ashran again. He offered to go with me to enact the rite of rescue, and then, without telling me, transported myself and himself to the scene where she could be found. Basically used Wayfair to transport us there. Unfortunately, he did not transport my mount, at which point I felt like I'd been ripped in half. We then were able to catch up with Ringa, at which he threatened Ringa, calling her a filthy commoner, and to tell him everything he knew about Keldanoth, at which point she escaped and was actually rescued by Azalea, who had apparently been coming back to get her the whole time. At which point they then left and went back to the Baroness. Ringa claims she knows nothing about Keldanoth or how to find him, and that she is not under his thrall. At which point we were then sent after the issue with the snow. Found out it was the work of a Gillidu who was due his tithing. The recording will stop, and she'll start tapping into it again. Because she can only record so much for the translator, so she's got to start it up again.
That's fair. Karina will kind of look. She's gonna look to the couch, see how he's doing. I assume he is Salt Lake City right now.
If you want to roll that perk empathy.
I fan.
Let's see. She'll then hit play again, and it'll start back up. We found him in a coffee shop, and apparently there were mortal investigators that had some measure of reality manipulation, because when one of them went in, all of the drinks started tasting like blood. From there, we tried to solve it. The two mortal investigators threatened to kill everybody in the store if we did not solve it immediately, or else something worse was going to come solve it and kill everybody. I entered into a protective stance, even though they couldn't see how I could protect them. While they found out what was going on with the Gilly-Doo and got his appropriate tithe, he stopped the snow. Unfortunately, the mortals were insistent upon what was going on, so unfortunately the Korred broke the right of ignorance, telling them about the Gilly-Doo's old pacts. They didn't take the Gilly-Doo's words, so Azalea then spoke up, talking about how there were things that were owed, and that the mortals didn't tithe them, and that they needed to be tithed. And I just got more frustrated with the sheer amount of stupidity. So once it was all settled and the mortals left, I then left to go deliver this information to Baroness Ayala, at which point you texted me wanting to speak to me because apparently you've never met one of my kind before, and I'm always pleased to inform people about the nature of the Dullahan, so I came as quickly as I could. And then she's going to start tapping again and hit play, and she's going to say, I apologize if this information I brought to you is distasteful to you. I would have stopped if you had wished it.
You claim that the Korred has broken the Ashit, or the right of ignorance, I should say. Did anyone else?
Oh, sorry. So you said, yes, if there was anybody else. Tap, 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 tap. Play. We all did our best to cover it up. One of them provoked me into calling myself the Rider of Death, but that can be, since he couldn't see anything else about me, except that I was wearing a biker outfit and had a motorcycle outside, he could assume I was just, a tough-talking biker chick. I don't know how deep Azalea went into describing what was going on. I was a little distracted by the sheer bloodthirst that was running around the entire place. It's a little distracting when you can sense instances of death occurring and have to be called in one direction or another. However, though the right of ignorance was broken, at least by Azalea and the Korred Ringa, it was not in such a way as to diminish the fact that the right of ignorance had been broken in a much greater manner by the Gilly-Doo using such powers openly, not only in the Fey world, but in the Grey world as well. There was just a lot of people trying to settle a situation that could have been settled really simply if the dude had bothered to say a single word.
This Gilly-Doo. What is his name? As is the name of the Korred.
The Gilly-Doo goes by Crib, as well as Jeremy is his mortal name. The Korred is called Ringa.
I see. At this time, for servants come in. 3 are knockers, or sorry, 3 are boggins. 1 is a knocker. They will come and take everyone's plates, and they will give dessert. It's probably like coffee cake or something.
Okay.
Coffee cake
Well-
and maybe like a scoop of Tua ice cream.
Blythe will very delicately feed it to her head.
I'm not gonna lie, Karina's like this Arcadian soul has never heard of table manners, at least not in the way that most of these here used to.
I feel like making everyone roll like freaking charisma etiquette, but I ain't about to be that bitch. But I really
Hey,
should
I
be.
do have etiquette. I do have charisma. So actually, no. Yes, I do. I have 2 dots of etiquette.
Shane is gonna eat his cake and just look at the cat. He's been feeding him like half of the main course, part of the main course, but he seems very greedy when it comes to the cake.
The cat is very, very happy, and his stomach is getting very big. Kind of comically, like it's not crazy size, but it is kind of he getting a little pudge. Yeah, the serving staff will then leave the room quietly, and then the Count will look over towards Karina and say, "Now I would like your story with the creature you have brought to my court today."
Well, you see, I was simply out last night exploring the city, getting to know the humans and fae that lived in it. Myself and Shane came across a small family, a child and his mother. I spoke to the child, who informed me that there were monsters in this realm. Of course, any human would simply dismiss such things, but for us, it could always be something a bit more, and simply enough, Your Excellency, I was bored. So, I took him up on it, and I checked things out. Shane kept the mother distracted, and so as we started to make our way in, we came across another, a Slua. I do not know his name yet. He seemed to be attracted to the movement. We made our way upstairs and into the child's room, where we came across that creature that I brought to you. It stabbed a nail into the Slua's neck, though it had quite a bit of problems drawing blood. I, however, did not. We found that the creature was harmed by the intense light. So after a very well-timed quicksilver from Shane, I was able to bring light to bear upon this creature, which made it scream and yelp in pain. And that is when it said, "Kaldenath will have your head," right before an arrow entered its eye. And it fell to the ground there.
Who all helped you in this endeavor of taking down that creature?
As I have said, Shane was a very big help. He helped to protect the right of ignorance. And If it were not for that Slua that I had met, unfortunately I did not get his name. He was the one that took the brunt of the attacks. If you like, I am sure I can find his name for you.
Please do so.
She nods. I will bring it to you as soon as I can.
My thanks. You will all be rewarded accordingly.
Shane will smile at be rewarded accordingly.
Um, so there will be a few moments of silence as the Count kind of thinks over everything he has been told. And then we'll look back to Blythe and said, "You mentioned this prince, correct?"
Tap to tap tap to tap tap tap. Play. Yes, Asher, and apparently he's a son of a king in the north.
Do tell me what you know about him.
Tap to tap 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 tap. Play. Arrogant. Used to getting his way. He's of House Baylor. Has two individuals with him. One that's a slight pale-looking creature, and the other that's basically an ogre. The ogre did kill the human host of the child that was killing people. I was forced to call that child's name as well. He seems entirely set on being entitled and has made a few provocative movements as if he's trying to provoke something, but I don't know what. He's constantly jumping into things. Sometimes I think he does it without knowing what he's doing. But since I'm an untitled commoner, he would consider my thoughts and words to be useless. So I don't know if I should have said anything at all. I apologize if I've said anything that disturbs your court.
Did I not ask for information on this prince?
She'll move her head for a nod.
Did you not answer me?
She'll move her head for a nod.
Then what is the need to apologize?
Tap to tap 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 tap. Play. I keep getting told that I don't know things and that I should keep my mouth shut.
He will. There will be a faint smile when you say that. And then we'll ask, and who exactly is the ones telling you to keep your mouth shut?
Tap 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 tap. Play. Well, Azalea and the one thing, and then Ashford whenever I try to stop him from getting his way. Tap 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 tap. Play. I did pull a scythe when he was strangling Ringa.
Good. Though it is best that you watch who you pull weapons on. In the end, if things were to go to court, it would not look favorably for you, considering you pulled a weapon on a prince.
Tap 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 tap. Play. I cannot abide those who mistreat those weaker than themselves. I cannot abide those who would willingly kill people for no reason, for no other justification than they can. I seek to protect all life, regardless of whose.
I understand this.
Uh, Shane will lift his hand up as to speak.
The count will motion for him to speak.
Yes, it's been a while since I've been back in the dreaming. I was wondering if someone might have a comb. My legs have not been combed in quite some time.
There will actually be a shudder from the head and body of the Dullahan.
The count will have his usual stony blank expression when asked that, and will simply ring the bell once again. And everyone's
He
favorite.
called Esquire.
He called Esquire.
Oh, Karina. Oh, Karina cannot even contain her smile. She is just smiling to him.
The count will give you the slightest slimmer of a smile towards Karina. Because, oh, he fucking noticed. He fucking noticed the interaction, but he knows the squire hates commoners and anyone who is not a she. So the squire will walk in. He is calmer than he was before. You guess he probably spent some quality time with the knockers screaming it out.
Nah, it's fine. He can get out till again soon.
Yeah, he totally did not spend any time with the fucking knockers because those are knockers and filthy commoners. But he will just kind of look at the count and say, "Your Excellency?" The count will nod and say, "The squire here has something he wishes to ask you. A
Yes,
request."
I need a comb. It has been a while since I've combed out my legs.
The squire will smile and nod his head ever so slightly before turning and walking out of the door again. A few minutes will pass, and he returns with a comb and hands it to you.
Shane will take the comb and begin combing out of his goat legs.
Oh my god, is he doing this at the count's table?
Yes.
Oh my god!
No!
Bro!
No!
Look, see, Karina's sitting over here like, I'm so glad he don't have an oath fealty to me. This ain't my squire. This ain't my problem.
Blythe will pick her head up and hug it eyes forward towards her chest so she doesn't have to watch this. Covering her ears at the same time.
I think her regent, like, he's gonna kick in a little bit here. She'll say, Shane,
Yes.
I will remind you to not forget the company that we're in.
Oh, should I excuse myself in order to comb out my goat legs?
If you wish to do so, it may be a better idea.
He'll look toward. You said he's the Duke?
Count. He's a count. A character.
He'll look toward the count. If you will excuse me, then he seems like he wants to bite his tongue, but then he lets it out. Your Excellency, if I could go and comb out my legs.
He nods his head and says, "Yes, Squire Stewart will show you where you are able to do what you need to do."
He'll turn and look at the other squire.
The squire has left the building. Actually, no, he's in the antechamber, but he is not currently in the room. But you did see him go out into the antechamber.
Then he'll go out to the antechamber.
Of course.
And he'll be like, "Oh, fellow squire, the count said you can show me to where I can comb out my legs."
The squire will not nod. He will not acknowledge your presence in any way, shape, or form. But he will start walking out. And if you follow him, he will lead you to a private room where you can room yourself.
I'll follow him.
He will lead you to a room. He will just unceremoniously throw the door open and then walk away.
Blythe will put her head back on the table and will lightly brush her hair with her fingers to try to get it straightened again.
This ain't homeboy's day.
This is not the squire's day.
Damn. You know that's why
we're going to the room and then comb out his goat legs.
Yep, you can comb out your goat legs in peace. You know what? Isn't there this thing where like satyrs can smell other satyrs or something? It's like I want to make that a thing. Kind of do. But you know what? Either way, the room he showed you was close to the room.
Oh, okay.
So you still hear the quote unquote party going on in there. But the this poor fucking squire, I can't. The count. Is there anything else that you wish to tell me?
Blythe will move her head to shake it no.
The count will look to Karina.
No, I simply wish to bring you this gift and tell you of what I saw, if there was any significance behind it.
And I thank you for that. Do let it be known among your friends that instead of speaking to the lovely Baroness Ayala, that you are to speak with me instead. The Baroness is currently indisposed, shall we say.
Blythe will nod her head in shaking. She'll then tap something into her phone and then hit play, and it'll say, "I wouldn't really call them friends. They keep getting me in trouble."
And then the people you associate with.
She'll nod her head again.
I do not know many in this city, Your Excellency, though I will spread the word.
I thank you, Lady Stormfury.
She nods.
The serving staff will walk back in and clear all the plates away. And then the Count will stand up and brush down the front of his robes before saying, "No, I believe that is all for this evening."
Blythe will stand up and pick up her head, cradle it under her left arm, and she will then bow to the Count. Tap, 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 play. Everything was delicious. My compliments to the chef. You are a remarkable host, Count.
He smiles and inclines his head slightly and says, "If you wish to pay your compliments to Chef Sindri, then by all means you may. I will warn you, he has quite a temper unless you are stroking his ego.
Tap, 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 tap. Play. It'll be the only thing I stroke.
That I have no doubt about.
She will bow her. She'll bow again, and then she won't turn her back on him. She'll just step out and then go find the head chef.
Yeah, Karina curtsies and kind of pretty much does the same.
Yep,
Kind
and
of wants to be like, "Hey, yo, fam, hold on."
yeah, he will incline his head as you leave as well. As soon as you leave, you just kind of hear him say, it's very muffled as you leave the antechamber. The squire is sitting outside. He is red in the face. He knows what's about to come, but he thinks he can get the count on his side because that was a dirty, filthy satyr. And you just hear the baron, or the count, say, "Squire, I believe it is time for us to speak privately."
Oh shit!
Blythe is going to look at Karina quizzically because she gets the feeling that Karina knows something she doesn't.
Karina will look over to Blythe, and Blythe is giving her that eye. She'll say, "Do you know what one of the first rules of being any kind of noble is?"
Tap, 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 tap. She'll hit play and it'll say, "The Dullahan have never held noble positions. It is contrary to our natures."
Understood then. One of the first things you must learn is some form of composure. And even if you do have a temper, you must find a way to control that.
Tap, 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 play. He failed the test? Question mark.
In this case, yes. He allowed his personal views on the differences between nobility and commoners to get in the way of his duties.
Tap, 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 tap. Play. Sounds like Ashran.
Yes, from what I have heard of Ashram, he is very similar.
Tap, 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 tap. Play. You seem unlike the other baronesses I've met.
Do I?
Tap, 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 tap. Play. You haven't yelled at me once for speaking out of turn.
You have said nothing disrespectful. And you have done nothing but help. There is no reason to yell at you. And you are not an asshole. Therefore, what you do is your business.
She'll tap, tap, tap. Play. Well, it was a pleasure to meet you. And then Blythe is going to pull out a card from her wallet, and it's going to hand it over to her. And it basically says, Moira O'Clair, travel editor, no, travel writer for Blah, Blah Travel Guide.
Well, then it is good to meet you, Dullahan. And Blythe can tell that she actually means that in a very complimentary way. She's not trying to insult her by calling her that.
She'll smile, nod her head, and tap, 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 tap. Play. You can call me Blythe whenever you want.
Very well then, Blythe.
She'll just big old smile on her head, and she's going to wave, and then she's going to go find the cook.
It's not hard to find a cook. It is not hard at all.
Tap, 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 play. I just wanted to let you know that your oxtails were exquisite, and the coffee cake that you served was perfectly paired with the ice cream. Your entire meal was sumptuous and delicious, and you are a credit to your craft.
When you walk in, he was mid screech. He was just going at it to some poor little boggin that is kind of weeping in the corner right now.
Damn.
Because and there are slices of bread thrown at it. You get the feeling that idiot sandwich was thrown around.
I love it.
He just kind of stops hearing someone stroke his ego, as all knockers are infamous for doing. Because, dear Lord, if you stroke a knocker's ego, oh God.
As a
And he-
player, confirmed.
Yes, it's probably better than sex for them. It is definitely better than sex for this guy, and he will turn around. And he will do the most extra bow that you have probably ever seen anyone give. And when I say extra, I mean there is so much flourish and like wrist flicks. He works the shoulders a little bit, and he fucking bows. And he says, "Ah, thank you, my lady. It is very rare I see someone with excellent taste to recognize my artwork."
Tap, 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 play. No, thank you. Because when I was eating your oxtails, it reminded me of dinner at home so long ago. Thank you again. And then she will actually give a bow in response with her head tucked in tightly at her side.
Low key, this knocker thinks he's in love.
She'll then smile, give a friendly little moe wave, and then she will leave the kitchen.
Before you leave, my dear, I wish to invite you back to my kitchens whenever you feel the need for a meal. I will be more than happy to serve you.
She'll smile and she'll nod her head, like literally nod her head, and then she will wave again, and then she will leave.
Okay. Is there anything else that needs or y'all want to do in the scene?
Yes, there was one thing I need to do.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, let me hear it.
Does anyone have anything else they need to do before I say my thing?
No, I'm quite good.
Right?
He's probably gonna meet up with Karina and with his legs all combed out. Be like, I think that other squire liked me. He kept blushing every time I entered the room. I mean, it happens.
Perhaps he hated your existence.
Why would anyone hate my existence?
Oh.
People find me fun to be around.
I was going to say because you're arrogant and misogynistic.
Me, arrogant? I am probably the humblest satyr you will ever meet.
And there it is. There is a challenge I must meet.
Oh, well. By all means.
Yeah. Karina's making her way towards the room.
The room is always open.
Karina opens it.
The smell just fucking hits you in a blast.
Now, people forget that, Karina has the savage legacy, and though she may be asexual, she was challenged in this room. Or rather, she issued the challenge.
The satyr who issued the challenge is currently, you can kind of tell she might be the quote-unquote boss of this room. Maybe. She's just kind of leaning back on a chair. There's a head between her legs. And she will just kind of idly look over at you and say, "Oh, well, look, you finally decided to come back."
Line them up.
With pleasure.
I think we can end the scene there.
Thank you. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another scene in Darkness in Dublin. Have fun.